My father made us sit facing the door at every restaurant, and he'd trade seats with you if you got it wrong. I was 14 the night he stood up before anyone else heard the bell. He never explained it, not once in 14 years. Every diner, every pizza place, every booth at the back of some highway steakhouse. My dad took the seat with his spine to the wall and his eyes on the entrance. My mom sat beside him. My little sister and I got the chairs facing out. If I slid into the wrong seat, he'd say it flat and quiet. Trade with me. Dad, it's just trade with me, David. I'd roll my eyes and switch. My sister called him paranoid. Mom would touch his arm under the table and he'd exhale like he was letting go of something. He kept a go bag in the trunk, cash taped under the sink. He taught me to walk into a room and count the exits before I sat down. When I asked why, he'd just say, because I love you. That's the only reason you need. The night it happened, we were at a place called Ruggerio's. Booth in the back. Dad facing the door, like always. Garlic bread on the table. My sister was telling some story about her science teacher. And then my dad stopped chewing. He wasn't looking at her. He was looking past me at the front of the restaurant. His whole face had gone still. Not scared, just empty. The way water goes flat right before something drops into it. Sarah, he said to my mom. Low. Even. Take the kids to the bathroom. Now. Michael, what now? That's when I heard it. The little brass bell over the door jingling as someone walked in. But my dad was already standing. He'd stood up before the bell rang. Before the door even opened. A man had come in. Gray coat, salt in his beard, hands in his pockets. He scanned the room slow, and when his eyes found my father, he smiled like he'd found something he'd lost a long time ago. Michael Doyle, the man said. It really is you. Sarah. Bathroom. My dad didn't take his eyes off him. My mom grabbed my sister's wrist. She reached for me and I wouldn't move. I was frozen half out of the booth, watching this stranger walk toward us between the tables. Come on now, the man said. 14 years. You didn't think I'd knock, did you? Whatever they paid you, my dad said. I'll double it. Right here. Just walk back out. It was never about the money, Mikey. You know that. The man's hand came out of his coat. There was a pistol in it, held low against his leg where the other diners couldn't see. You put my brother in a box. Now I put you in one. Fair's fair. I couldn't breathe. My dad, my mild, tired, garlic bread dad, didn't flinch. You should have checked my seat, my father said. What? You should have asked yourself why I always sit with my back to the wall. And then my dad moved. I'd never seen him move like that. 14 years of counting exits, of trading seats, of facing the door. It wasn't paranoia. It was practice. He'd closed the distance before the man could raise the gun, one hand clamped over the pistol, the other driving the guy's arm up and back until something popped and the man screamed. The gun clattered under a table. My dad had him bent over the salad bar, face down in the ice, his arm cranked so high behind his back that he'd stopped being a threat and started being a problem for the paramedics. You came in the front, my dad said, breathing hard, holding him down while the whole restaurant screamed and scattered. You always come in the front. That's why I watched the door. Sirens already. My mom had called them the second she stood up. The man in the gray coat was Danny Vasco. His brother had run a crew my father testified against when I was 3 months old. The reason we'd moved 4 times, changed our name once, and eaten every meal with our backs to the wall. My dad had been a federal witness for 14 years, and he'd spent every single one of them waiting for the bell. They put Vasco in the ambulance in cuffs. My dad sat down next to me on the curb, knuckles split, and put his arm around my shoulders. That's why, he said, that's the only reason you ever needed.